You can think of this video as a crash course into how to use our AI Copilot to navigate lead capture, get things done, go faster, analyze your results so you can get better results, and the list goes on. In this video, we're also going to be building out a custom calculator we're going to do this for mortgage. I can't find the calculator. Here it is. We're going to be doing this for mortgage. I'll show you how we're going to use Copilot to even do that for us, and also review an A/B test, and so on. So for those of you who don't know, we recently pushed some major updates to our AI Copilot feature, and we can consider this Copilot 2.0. There's actually a 3.0 that's coming out eventually. It's going to have a new name and some really cool updates, but 2.0 is a huge upgrade, so there's some things that I want to cover there. This video is going to be covering what we updated. It's now more context and feature aware. It understands your funnel and all the features way better than it did before. We now have threads inside of Copilot, so if you go to conversations, there's threads. And I want to show you how to use threads inside of Copilot to get better results as you're using it, because there's some helpful tips to understand and know there. And then, like I said, Copilot 3.0 is coming out eventually. I'm not going to talk about that much in that video. I'll have another update for you there, and then I'll just walk through some different ways to use Copilot. But before we get into all of that, I just want to quickly explain how we think about AI within LeadCapture, because we obviously have AI throughout the platform, and it's a big thing we're leaning into. We're seeing that it's extremely effective for helping with efficiency, for helping with analyzing results, and the list goes on that side. But I think it's worth understanding how I think about AI from a building and platform product perspective. And I think Jeff Bezos says it best. He says, AI is most like electricity. There was electricity, then compute, now AI. He refers to AI as the horizontal layer that goes everywhere. And what's really interesting is he says, I guarantee that there's not a single application that you can think of that is not going to be made better by AI. And when we think about how we're building AI into LeadCapture, this is exactly the idea that we're trying to capture. It's not here to just be a bolt-on thing. A lot of people approach it that way. We see competitors approaching it that way. Instead, what we're doing is we're threading the AI through the entire platform. We're training it on our features. Anytime we ship a feature, we have to go in and train the AI on how to understand that feature. We are on pace right now to have over 1 billion impressions. And the AI, and when I say impressions, that means our forms, quizzes, funnels, lead capture pages, all loading about 1 billion times. And all of that data can be fed into our AI to help train it on best practices, how to do things. So when people come to the Copilot, I see them sometimes using it like support, and that's fine. But keep in mind, you can go back and forth and have strategic conversations, then turn those strategic conversations and insights, even about your own data, into practical updates that you can make to improve conversions. So just to kind of summarize there, I view the AI as something that we thread through the system to help you be more efficient and to make it easier for you to build your forms, quizzes, funnels, but also to help you just have some sort of partner that could help you strategically come up with new ideas to then test so you get better results. So let's talk about threads before we dive into this. So whenever you're having a conversation with our AI, we now have this threads feature. This is new. So what I recommend doing is opening up new conversations based on the different things that you're working on in LeadCapture. So if you're going through and if you're making updates to a specific part of your funnel, or if you're working on, like maybe you're working on copy, like the headline copy, maybe that should be a new thread than if you're building out a full calculator. And the reason why you want to do this is because we have to feed context into the AI systems, and there's only a limit of like so much context that it could take before it begins slowing down, before the results start to diminish. It's interesting, people expect AI to be perfect right out of the gate, and unfortunately there's a lot of tweaking and fine-tuning and just a lot of things we need to pass into the different models. In fact, we're always doing model switching behind the scenes based on the questions that you're feeding into the Copilot system. So there's a lot happening here, and one of the ways you can improve your results is by creating new conversations and trying to keep your conversations I guess we could say, categorized by what you're doing. So let's walk through a couple of different ways that you can use the AI Copilot to improve your results. So the first thing you can do is you can come in and you can ask it questions. Now, this isn't really meant to replace support, but it can definitely help, especially if you're just looking for quick responses. And we're continuing to improve what it understands and knows about our system. There's been some gaps recently where it had trouble, where it pointed people in the wrong direction. Hopefully all that is fixed. We've done a lot of work to fix that type of feedback and mistake that it's making. But you can come in and say, how do I set up, let's say, LeadCapture to improve the I don't know, like data that gets fed back into Cappy. That is stated terribly. For those of you who know, I don't really like script these videos. I just kind of shoot them, and we just kind of go from there so we could get the content out. So it's going through and it's thinking, and just give it a moment, because like I said, there's a lot of data that it needs to comb through and pass into the AI models to then give you the correct response. So I'm actually going to just pause real quick while it thinks, just so we don't waste too much time here on video, and then I'll come back and show you, oh, I don't even need to do that. So it's going to explain how to set up Cappy to improve your attribution. That's the word I probably should have used. But you can see that my question wasn't even that descriptive. It wasn't that great, but it still understood what I was saying. And here it's telling us what to do. Step 1, enable metapixel first. So this is a required step. It understands this nuance about our system. So this is showing that it has greatly improved since some of you have tried to prompt it to give you instructions on how to set up Cappy. Then it's showing you what exactly you need to do, and so on. And it can even go in and set that up. So I could give it my pixel, my Facebook, or my metapixel, and I could have it get that process started. Now, what it can't do is it can't log into Facebook yet and do all of that. Maybe at some point, but that's not something that it currently supports. But it can go into your settings area and start getting your tracking and attribution stuff all set up. Let's go into another use here for the Copilot. So first, going back to threads, you'll see that it automatically created a new conversation around how do I set up Cappy. Maybe you want this to be worded in a way that's easier for you to understand at a quick glance. I might just call this Cappy setup. So next, what we're going to do here is we are going to have this rewrite a headline, and then I'm going to show you a sweeping change that you can make. Then we're going to build a custom calculator. So as you can see, this funnel is like kind of a mess because I've just been doing some testing with it. It's a mortgage brand, but it's a solar funnel. So actually, let's go with the sweeping change first. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start a new conversation. So this way we're feeding new context into the system. And the system is also going to know that we're working within a mortgage refi calculator type funnel, although it might be a little confused now because we have solar. We have the two things combined, but it has context around what we're working on here. And I'm going to say something like, I want to change this LeadCapture page to be specifically focused on mortgage refi. Currently, it's focused on solar, and we want to change this whole page. Now, the use case here, before I even dive into the prompt, is let's say that you're looking to quickly spin up new pages. So you could come in to LeadCapture, you can clone a page. So let's actually just do this. We'll clone this page here and then name it something new. So we're going to name it Refi Calculator Quiz, or Lead Gen Refi Calc Lead Gen. Then we're going to come in here, and what we want to do is just update this whole thing. And this is where it really helps, where Copilot really helps us go faster, because we can have it make sweeping changes and get us like 70% there. Then we can go in and continue to fine tune things. So now I'm going to type in my prompt. I'll pause, I'll come back once I get done typing, because I can't type and talk at the same time. So I'm going to be super vague here on purpose. And I'm going to say, I want to update this page to be focused on mortgage refi. And we're going to be focused on refi savings. Like, that's the thing we're trying to hook people with. So now it's going to go through, and this is going to take a little bit longer because we're asking it to make a number of changes. We're asking it to understand the context first. So it's going through, it's reviewing. I'm going to pause this and I'll show you what it comes back with. Okay, so it just came back with a response. So it's saying it's going to replace all steps with, so it's going to go through and start to create actual steps for us here. So if we pop open the steps, you'll see all these steps here are solar focused. It's roof shade, credit score, and so on. Then it's going to update the global styles to be a blue finance color. It's probably understanding that this logo has some blue in it. It's going to update the page background, update the banner content that's sliding across. Right now, all of this is solar focused, and it's in the process of making all of these updates behind the scenes. So what I could have done, though, if I wanted to be more specific about what I wanted, the ideal way to have prompted it would have been to tell it what I wanted the questions to be, or to tell it what I want the branding to be. Or another way I could have approached this is I could have said, let's brainstorm what a good mortgage refi funnel looks like, and then work with it to come up with the page and the funnel setup and settings, and then have it go and work on all of that. So you'll see it just updated everything. It updated the colors, it updated the call outs that are sliding across the 1, 2, 3 section. You'll see it's even using words like lenders. You'll see that there are some things that didn't update. So in this case, again, it's not 100% perfect, but it got us 70% of the way there based on best practices. Even the headline is pretty good. Find out how much you could save by refinancing. I probably would have spent a solid like 5 or 10 minutes myself thinking about that, but it just wrote that for us, and it's a good starting point. And then if we just click through, so you'll see property address, loan type, loan balance, credit score, refi goal. Here is, this is pretty cool. Here's the processing step. I would highly recommend trying something like this in your funnels and forms. And it split the name, the contact details, and so on. So one thing I don't like, and this is a way that you can have it quickly speed things up for you, is I don't like the use of the labels here where it says remaining loan balance, current interest rate. I feel that it's a little bit repetitive. And I could click on each of these and go to show label, but I could also just come in here and say, can you remove the labels across all steps? This is an example of the perfect use of using AI to be more efficient. And this is what I mean about how we think about using AI throughout the product, how it's like electricity, how it's like that horizontal layer that plugs into the product to make you efficient. And it's going to actually go in and do that for us so we don't have to click into each step. And I think this is the future of where software is headed. I think that the future is, yes, you have the ability to click into each thing, and that is vital because you do want to go in and fine tune things, but having some sort of a Copilot assistant that can go in and make those changes for you when prompted is huge, and it's extremely efficient to do that. So it's making those changes across all steps. It's taking a little bit longer because it needs to now go through every single step. I could have done this one step at a time, but I will come back in as soon as it completes. And you'll see it's showing us everything that it updated, and the labels all appear to be gone. Now, another thing, now you'll see actually here, it screwed up. It removed the placeholder text from the fields. So this is where I could either undo that change, or I could go into version history and set it back to a different version, or I could go back and prompt it. I could undo it here. Actually, maybe it didn't undo the placeholders. There are no placeholders. So I misunderstood that. And that's something I just screwed up, but I could go back in and just reprompt it to remove the labels and then add in placeholders. So next, another thing that you can have it do is obviously set up a step for you. I'm going to do this with a more complex step, and I'm going to ask it to build a simple refi calculator. And this is taking things to the completely next level with the Copilot, because building refi calculators, quote tools, solar saving quote tools, things like that, it can become extremely complex and time consuming, especially if you're in, like, let's say mortgage or solar, and you need to understand the mortgage math and the solar math. So this is where you can come in and say, okay, now we want to build the refi savings calculator. Let's brainstorm what should be in it. Let's keep it simple. So now you're going to see how I'm using it to brainstorm and then we're going to build with it. So let's see what it comes back with. All right, here's our response. It says, I can see you have loan balance and current rate. So it's going back and looking through the steps, collect it. Here's what I suggest for a simple but in fact impactful refi savings calculator. So it's saying that it needs to add in a couple of new inputs, new rate, remaining term, and it wants to show current monthly payment. This is our hero stat, so the big thing we want to lead with. Another big thing we want to lead with, new monthly payment, monthly savings, the yearly savings, and then it's showing where, it's even thinking through where to place this in the funnel. And it's recommending to place it right here, so there's the transition step, and then place here with reveal results loading. So let's just say yes, do this. I think it's pretty amazing how it went through and strategically brainstormed what was the ideal setup here. Now, obviously, let's hope that it comes through and does all this and implements it correctly, and it should. So I'll check back in a moment or so. And just a quick note, it's about to start building, and it's saying I'm going to build the refi savings calculator. Now here's the plan. It's going through the steps, and then I'm just going to click save my version. I don't know why I did that. I must have this open in another tab somewhere, so I'll click save my version, and you'll see that it just built the entire calculator for us. Now, it made some, it didn't follow the plan completely. You'll see that it put the step at the end, so I'm just going to move it here. And then maybe I want to move the new interest and loan balance to different steps. So I could come in here and say, you put the new interest rate and loan term on the calc step. Can you put them on different steps? So I'm just giving some feedback on what to change and optimize, and it's going to go through and it should actually put these responses back to a different step. And again, it's just another way for us to go faster and make these updates without having to go and clone a step and add a slider response to each of these steps. And it's also setting up all the complex math. So you'll see here that it's not just building the UI and all that, but it's coming up with the calculations. And this is the biggest time savings, because you not only have to understand what type of calculator you're building, but you also need to set up all the different calculations. And just like that, you'll see it did a few things. It created a couple of new steps. So here's our remaining loan term step. Here's our new interest rate step. Here's the savings calculator. And maybe we would want this above that. Then it says calculating your refi savings. Bam, there's the calculator. Continue, enter your name, continue to get your savings or whatever. And then this is how we strategically just added in a calculator funnel or a calculation for lead gen to drive leads using our AI Copilot to knock out something that would traditionally take somebody probably tens of thousands of dollars to build and a lot of time to build, all done with Copilot. Now, of course, you could go and use something like ChatGPT or Claude to do something, but here's the thing. ChatGPT, Claude, Lovable, all of these generic tools are that. They're generic. They're not trained on the same conversion data and insights that we're constantly feeding into Copilot. Remember, I said we're pacing to hit 1 billion impressions. We're taking that data, we're taking the learning and the feedback, and we're training our Copilot, and it's only going to continue to get smarter and better and more efficient at things like this. I mean, it's even light years ahead of where it was a few days ago, because we're just taking all the feedback and adding it in. There's one more thing that I want to show you that I think a lot of people miss because it's easy to miss. Actually, there's two more things. So, and they're both related, so kind of one more thing. So you can come into Copilot outside of the builder, and then you can have it review results for you. And I can say, no, I'm not going to get great results because this is a test account right now, but what's the highest converting funnel in the last 30 days? Where should I focus? Or I probably should have said like where's the highest drop off, and now it's going through my own data, and it's looking at my highest converting funnel, and it's telling me where I can focus. So it's saying priority one, case help main. This is the biggest leak. It gets 220 impressions, and this is the highest traffic page with 41 completions. I mean, an 18.6% conversion rate on a generic landing page is actually pretty good, but it's telling us where to focus, and maybe this is a big opportunity because it's already getting conversions. And then it's also just making some additional recommendations there that you could either take or leave. On that side, if you're running an A/B test, let's see, do I even have an A/B test set? Yeah, okay, I do. So there's probably no data here, but the AI Copilot exists here as well. If you want to understand how the test is performing, go up here, right-hand side. It's going to pop open this chat here. And I think maybe we should have this open in a new thread. I don't like how it did it in that same thread that I was working out of. And it's going to analyze the test for us. I don't know about you, but when running tests, I never really know when to end them. There's a lot you have to look at and understand before determining whether or not a test is successful. And sometimes it just helps to have some additional insights before you make that decision. I would say testing should always be a human decision as far as determining what you're going to test and why and all that type of stuff and when you're going to end it. But there's nothing wrong with having some sort of system like Copilot go in and look at your data and just provide some additional thoughts that you might not be thinking about or another opinion. Alternatively, you could come up here and just start another conversation with it for analyzing the test. So that's how to use the AI Copilot inside of LeadCapture. Like I said, there's more coming, and we're constantly training it. We're constantly improving it. There's a whole new name and branding that's coming to it and some more features in the very near future. That's all on the roadmap, and expect more updates. If you run into problems with it, if you have feedback on how to improve it, please reach out and let me know. This is new stuff. We're doing stuff that we've never done before here. There's not a lot of platforms that are incorporating the AI like we are here. There's even some different features that use the artificial intelligence across the platform that I haven't even shown yet. So feel free to reach out, because it's feedback like that helps shape what we're building here.